Okay, let's get the old squacker tail crappie jig tied up here. We're going to be using a black thread on this tie today. Starting right back behind the jig head. And of course, like I say, in 99.9% of my fiddlers, right back to the bend of the hook and back up about halfway up that shank. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing to this little squacker jig is we have got, as my UV resin cap goes flying, we have got some orange flashing right here. And this is what we're going to be adding to it first. Need about 3 strips of this right here, or strands of this. And we're going to bring this right off the back, and this is going to be about a ½ inch off the back of the jig or so. Just press him right down, pinch him right on the shank, and then just lock him in there. There we go. And then the next thing we're going to do, of course, is get rid of this, the excess. And then we'll just go ahead and add some wraps, locking this in. Then we're going to go about halfway down from the back of the jig head. Next thing we're going to be adding is some hair off of a good old gray squirrel from Kentucky right here. Thanks to Brandon again for going out squirrel hunting. Guys, if you're tying jigs, getting into jig tying or fly tying, and you don't squirrel hunt or anything like that, I'm sure you probably got friends, pals on Facebook that does squirrel hunt. Just, hey, put it out there on a post that you'd like to have some squirrel tails, and all you got to do is just like we do here, just cut them off, add some salt to it. I add some sea salt to the end of them and packed it in real good. I hung them up, let them dry, and you got a lot of great material to work with, whatever kind of ties that you may be doing. But anyway, let's get on to the tie that we're doing right here. Thought I'd just throw that little tip out to you if you're new to jig tying and you don't hunt or anything like that. We just need a pinch of this right here. So we'll go ahead and get this cut. Okay, we got him cleaned up. I got a little bit too much there, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this out. It takes very little of this squirrel hair where it's so thick. About right there will work. Then we're going to lay him right back behind that jig head. We're going to give him a couple of loose wraps, and then we're going to kind of push down and push forward. We want this to wrap all the way around the shank of that hook. There we go. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to give him some tight wraps. Now the next thing we're going to be using, we're going to add a couple more pieces of this orange flashing before we put the chenille on. And I'm just going with 2 strands of it this time, as my thread is going crazy there. And we're going to lay it right on the side. Couple turns there. We're going to flip him over. Get this excess cut. And then I like just flipping that flash over. That way I know that it's cut even. And then I'm going to lay it right down, right back to where that squirrel tail ends. It's kind of late, guys. I'm up. Thought I'd tie a few jigs, so forgive me for the talk I'm talking here, or the words I'm saying. And then we're going to go ahead, get this clipped off, pinch it all up here. Some nice tight wraps back and forth. Right up back behind that jig head. It's looking really good right there. Now we're going to go with some black chenille right here. This is a 1/4 inch. I got this from Lady Fly Tire off eBay. If you wonder where I get mine from, this is a black yarn like, no flashing in it whatsoever. It's going to take very little for this right here. So I'm just going to cut a small portion of this off here. And then we're going to remove some of that yarn and get into the thread. And then we're going to lock it in right back behind that jig head there. And then we're just going to start wrapping it right around, right down toward where that squirrel tail starts on the jig here. Wrapping them in tight. And then right back up toward the back of the jig head here. There we go. Then we'll just do some crossover turns on him. I may have cut him a little short there. Do some cross wraps on him. A couple more wraps there. There we go. Build that collar up a little bit. Then we're just going to do a couple of wide wraps down, locking that chenille in, and then right back up to the back of the jig head. Guys, I'm just an old country guy here. Yeah, I mess up with my wording sometimes. I even screw up on my jigs. I've got really bad carpal tunnel in my hands. I've dropped stuff off camera, all that good stuff before, and it is what it is. That's what I say. Then we're going to lay a little bit of UV resin on it, and then we're going to hit it with the UV light. Well, guys, there you go. A nice little crappie jig right there with the hair off of a squirrel tail. This stuff is awesome to work with. That looks really good in the water as well. And super simple little jig to tie. And a great little jig when you're out there fishing for those old big slabs. Guys, if you liked the video and you hope you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified when we upload here on the channel. And guys, as always, stay safe out there on the water. Give this little jig right here a try. And we'll see you right back at Hills and Gills.